Hi friends! So I'm so excited to be here talking with you today. I've been wanting to film a second trimester / talk about my first trimester just a little bit, so that way I have this video to look back on, especially when baby gets older. I just think it would be so fun to be able to compare my other pregnancies to my first pregnancy and just how I was feeling. So I have a bunch of notes written down on my phone, and then I also have my coffee because I'm in my boy mom era. This is so cute. I think I got it just like from Amazon. And water. I can already tell I'm out of breath and I just started talking, so we love that, but it's okay. Bear with me. I think we'll have a lot of fun and you'll get to know me just a little bit more too. So first I'm just going to touch on my first trimester really quick. So my first trimester was pretty average, I would say. I did have a lot of food aversions and some nausea, but it was nothing that wasn't manageable. I was still able to function and work and live my life fairly similar to how it was before. One of the biggest things was, of course, just being more tired and fatigued. So I didn't work out as much as I normally did, or like walk and things like that. So I definitely had to start bringing that back in once I got back into my second trimester, which has been really great just to like stay active to the best of my ability. But in second trimester, thankfully, everything pretty much went back to normal pre-pregnancy, and I just want like salads a lot, coffee every morning when I wake up, electrolytes, and water, just like so thirsty all the time. And during my first trimester, I really wanted fruit. Fruit was one of the biggest things that I craved, which is so unlike me. I am not somebody that normally like eats fruit at all, really. I'm a lot more of like a savory, spicy kind of gal. So that was really funny. But then when I got to my second trimester, I didn't want the fruit anymore. So the first trimester, nausea and aversions ended for me at about 16 weeks. So maybe just a little bit tad longer than for other people. I woke up on a Friday morning and all of my symptoms were gone, to the point where it actually kind of scared me a little bit. And I was like, oh, is something wrong? Because I do not feel pregnant at all. Everything was fine. Baby was doing great. I just didn't have, this tiredness like I had the first trimester, and then the food aversions and the nausea. It just all really dissipated. So that's when I started my quote unquote like honeymoon phase, which I'm just so thankful for. At 18 weeks, I started to get that round belly. I feel like when you become pregnant yourself, you can see the change even like 6 weeks in from that bloat, and you know your body so well. But at about 18 weeks is whenever my husband was like, wow, like your belly looks round, you look pregnant. That's also when other people started to compliment me more on it. And that was such a great feeling because I felt like I could see the changes in myself, but for other people to be able to see it was really nice. At 20 weeks, I had my anatomy scan, which was a really great experience for me. I'm having a home birth, and so the anatomy scan has a lot of weight to it, because if you don't make certain markers, you can basically be revoked from your home birth in the state of Tennessee. Home birth is for low-risk moms and low-risk babies. So that appointment, it just means a lot to go in and for everything just to check out and be great. I did actually have to go back 6 weeks later for them to get more of his brain and his heart. But what they did get at the 20-week scan said looked all normal, but that they just needed more imagery. And so I went back and everything was great. He was perfect, his size was perfect, and I was cleared for my home birth, which is such an answered prayer. And I was just so thankful about that. At week 21 and 22 is when I really started to feel those baby kicks, which is just so incredibly special. You bond so much with your baby, being able to feel him or her inside of you. And yeah, it's just undescribable. A really sweet story behind that too is the first time I felt the baby truly kick on the outside, my husband did as well. I was laying down for bed that night and had put my hand on my belly and I felt the baby kick. And that was the first time, and I was just like, honey, come here. And I screamed and had him come in the room, put his hand on my belly, started talking to the baby. The baby was like responding and he kicked for him, which was so special. So we actually felt him kick the same day, and Justin didn't feel the baby kick again for like another 3 weeks, because it felt like every time after that, if he put his hand on my belly, the baby would just stop kicking. So, but yeah, that was just, it was so incredibly special. As far as other symptoms, I do have headaches periodically. I would say about once a week. Thankfully, I work at a chiropractor that is specifically pediatric and prenatal, so I haven't really had a lot of back pain or any other symptoms, and I really truly attribute that to how often that I get adjusted, and then of course my nutrition and taking care of myself. So the adjustments do help, I believe, with my headache. And then also I did have the symphysis pubis dysfunction, the SPD. After an 8-hour car ride, I had some of that, but thankfully it has been back since, so I do attribute it just to being in the car for so long and not getting out and walking enough and like properly stretching and stuff. Also, that same trip when I had the SPD, I had swollen ankles for the first time, and that was kind of emotional for me. I didn't cry, but I just felt like, I hope I'm doing everything right, because I really don't want to swell. I know you say all these things and it doesn't really matter, but certain like swelling can be a sign for preeclampsia and other issues. So I just really pray like against all of those things. So for me to see my ankles swelling, it just made me feel a little bit on high alert, but it's normal and it happens. I am pregnant and it's fine. So I do have one ankle specifically that is still swollen, like at the end of the day, as of now. And then sleep has gotten more difficult. Absolutely. So I ordered the Mom Cozy pillow, which I feel like is good. If I could go back, I think I would just order a set of king size pillows, like 2 more king size, and then just use like my pillow at my head. Being like in the chiropractic world for so long, it's a well-known thing that you really shouldn't use super thick pillows underneath your head. So I'm used to sleeping with a very thin pillow, and this Mom Cozy pillow, the head of it is like kind of too plush for me. So I've been trying to figure out how I can like rearrange it, maneuver it, but it is pretty large. So if I could go back, I would just order probably the 2 king size pillows and use my regular pillow and just like call it a day. I'm also a back sleeper, and I always have been. So I finally got to that point. My first trimester, it was great. I was sleeping on my back. I was just like, I felt like I was sleeping so well. And then farther along I remember one night like gasping for air, because you have that major blood vessel in your back and it flows to your uterus and supports the oxygen for the baby. And so whenever you lay flat on your back, you can actually like run out of cut off your oxygen supply. And that was happening to me. So I now have to really like change to my side. And I've also noticed to go with like oxygen and breathing, I'm running out of breath a lot quicker, and I just feel more pregnant at this stage. And it's really exciting. I mean, I'm so incredibly thankful, but it just is funny how things start changing to your body that have never been that way before. Also, it's kind of interesting how you really shouldn't be laying on your back in pregnancy, but then they want to let you on your back at the hospital. Kind of weird, right? I got a week left in my second trimester. I'm definitely feeling my body starting to slow down and just getting ready for this baby to start growing like exponentially, which is going to be so amazing. And another thing about the first trimester is that when you're in it and you're in that sickness, it honestly feels just awful, and you're like, how do I do this again and again? You know, like if I want more children, which I do. But when I woke up that day in my second trimester, I basically forgot how it felt, which I think is so interesting. Like it kind of all just, and I'm like, I could do it again. So, which they say that about labor too. It's just, yeah, it's cool, God's design. My prenatal vitamins, I'll kind of touch on that real quick. So this is like my probiotic, my gut support. This is by Ion that I use. It's actually a liquid, which is amazing. Less pills, the better, because I take the Seeking Health Optimal Prenatal Vitamin, and it's 8 capsules. And then I take the Prenatal DHA. Vitamin D3 I will take, but only on the days that I haven't been outside a lot, because my second trimester has been the whole summer. I haven't really had to supplement with it as much, I would say, just because I'm getting out during those prime like hours of the day. And then last thing is the magnesium. This is magnesium citrate. So first trimester, I did have just like a touch of constipation. It wasn't anything crazy. If you are suffering with first trimester constipation, the number one recommendation I would have for you is, of course, yeah, the magnesium, but then also to look into the teas. So there are certain teas that are safe for pregnancy that are really great for bowel movements. And so ask your provider or just do the research yourself and look into those, because I've known those to help a lot of other women. For me, my constipation never got to that point. I also use the Baby to Me vitamin. It's from Whole Foods. I have that one in case like I run out of this one and it doesn't come in on time, which has happened a couple times, or if I was extremely like bloated. I remember that happening sometimes where I just could not fathom taking a bunch of pills that day, and I was like, I'm just taking this one because it's 2 capsules and it's a whole food supplement, really great quality. But through my research, I like this brand better. So, books that I'm starting to read in the second trimester, I did get this Hunt Gather Parent book, which I am very excited to read. I haven't started it yet, but that book I can even read after baby boy is here, which is really great. Of course, Iron Amanda's Guide to Childbirth. This is like the #1 book recommended, and I'm gonna actually probably start this one right after the current one that I'm reading. And then this has been the one I've been reading right now, which is The Natural Childbirth, the Bradley Way. This is just really great, I feel like, for Justin, for my husband, because he wants to be extremely active during our labor. And like I said, we are having a home birth, so just trying to get all the information and have some tools in our toolbox. But at the end of the day, I have the Lord, and that's the #1 thing. And with Him, I can do all things. So I'm not nervous. I'm not fearful of childbirth. If anything, I'm extremely excited, and I know it will be very refining. So yeah, I just appreciate any prayers for my labor. That would just be so amazing. I just want a successful, healthy home birth, really, and everything else is just extra. I'm actually in baby boy's nursery right now. So I have the rocker, and then it's a lot of white. So white walls. We have the dresser. I got this really cute vintage dresser off Facebook Marketplace that I'm so excited about. But I definitely want to do a video just showing you all around. I'm waiting till my baby shower before I complete the nursery, and then I'll definitely do like a little video about that. So the last thing I want to talk about is body image. I feel like the second trimester is whenever your body really starts to change and body image just becomes more of a thing. And it had, for me personally, it surprised me a little bit how I felt and reacted to my body changing in pregnancy, because I want this baby so bad and I see it as such a miracle. And I am quite a confident person, so body image and struggles, they do affect me, but it doesn't like rule over my mind or my life. So I don't know if it was naive, if I was just naive, but I kind of thought that it just wasn't gonna affect me at all. But it has, and I just have to like remind myself of the process and that it's temporary and it's beautiful. I will say I have a few stretch marks that have popped up the past couple weeks on my belly. And then I also feel heavier and out of breath, which I explained that too, where I'm just like, okay, it's harder to do certain things like turn over in bed, and I'm just like, oh, I feel like heavier, and I know I'm just gonna get bigger. But like I said, it's temporary and it's beautiful, and I'm so incredibly thankful for my body and just who I am as a woman. I would say the hardest body change and what makes me the least amount of confident is my breast size. My breasts have doubled in size already, and my milk hasn't even come in yet, and I plan on breastfeeding. So yeah, that's definitely been the hardest thing, because it's like impossible for me to be modest and wear what I want to wear. And then if I wear super high neck things, it's just like not super flattering either. So trying to learn how to maneuver what bras to get. If you're also a larger chested gal, leave in the comments some bra recommendations. That would be really great. I've tried a few different ones, but they just didn't work for me and I had to return them. So yeah, fun stuff. Well, thanks so much for hanging out with me and going over my second trimester recap. I'm so looking forward to meeting my little baby boy, and then also just making more fun videos like this. I feel like it's just, I don't know, it's just so fun. But yeah, see you next time.